Another Life Without Sports, Tuesday edition. We have a lot to talk about today, John Meter Pearl.
Well, one thing that we always love, at least I do, and of course our plethora of viewers, the Mike Pacheco setting.
Yes. Yeah.
Because here sitting on a 1967 couch. And here you are, again, out in the wild,
Yeah.
makes you feel like I'm in Augusta.
Yeah, no azaleas, but actually, it's funny you say that. I don't have it with me. It's down in the yard. I was doing some yard work yesterday. I told you about the big winds and the thunderstorms we had yesterday. And I found a Pro Staff golf ball plugged into I have a kind of a hill that goes down to a floodplain. And then Quill Hollow, where they play the Wells Fargo Championship, I'm probably 400 yards, 500 yards from the 13th green. But I found this old Pro Staff golf ball, and it had to be 30 years old, 25 years. I mean, it was an older, you could tell it was an older golf ball. And I think what happened was when they were building this development, I don't know if it was as tree-lined as it is now. And I wonder if people that live across the creek were just like firing golf balls over here. I wonder if this was like the old range.
I think that ball was last used by Sam Snead.
Yeah, Sam Snead. Maybe Lee Trevino. It did have an LT on there. I should probably investigate that.
Or maybe Charlotte's finest, Fred Couples.
Yeah, Freddie Couples.
Your old neighbor.
That's right. Yeah, he used to live not quite in the neighborhood, but he wasn't that far away. Yeah, wasn't that far away.
Paul Sharf used to tell me that he'd see Freddie Couples.
Yeah, well, apparently Freddie was dating a Charlotte girl, so he bought a house here, and he was. I think the neighbor. I think the girlfriend. I think lived in Sharf's neighborhood, right? And I think he had a house somewhere else. If that's the.
It's always about the women. Mike.
It's all about the women. That's right.
So, at least he wasn't seen at a Perkins with Tiger Woods. So. Hopefully that wasn't on his radar.
You never know. Oh, man.
We're down there, it would have been, I should have said a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, well, Perkins probably, no, they actually do have those down here. But I'm trying to think what the Massachusetts equivalent would be. Maybe Denny's?
Yeah, Denny's, I haven't seen many Denny's recently.
Yeah.
You bemoan the loss of Brigham's, and we've also bemoaned the loss of Bickford's.
Yeah.
And Denny's for that matter.
Yeah. Do you have a Shoney's up there? Remember Shoney's?
Oh, no, we don't have a Shoney's. I used to eat breakfast there when I moved to Charlotte.
Yeah.
My budget was $27 a week.
Yeah.
I'd go in there on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I'd be ready. I'd be good until Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoney's. Man, the buffet there was outstanding.
The buffet, yes. Tell him Mike Pacheco sent you.
That's right. That and $8 will get you a meal.
Yeah, but Life Without Sports does continue.
It does every day.
Popular every day.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day there. It's a beautiful day in Boston as well. But an interesting. Not often I say this, but I'm old school. I actually read the hard copy.
The hard copy of the Globe. Yeah.
Like you were the Charlotte Disturber.
Yes. Yeah. All 4 pages of it.
Your good friend Dan Shaughnessy has a list of the great what-ifs in Boston sports.
Oh, what-ifs in Boston sports. All right.
What if Danny Ainge drafted Giannis instead of Kelly Olynyk with the 13th pick in 2013?
Wow. Coming out of the blocks.
I mean, I forgot about that, and that was just a blunder of epic proportions.
Yeah.
And Ainge has done a pretty good job.
Yes, he has.
David Tyree didn't make the helmet Velcro catch.
Yeah. Oh, God. You had to bring that up.
What if Reggie Lewis had lived?
Yeah.
What if Ulf Samuelson had never been born? What if John McNamara allowed Roger Clemens to stay in the game for the 8th inning of Game 6?
Right. Now, what if Babe Ruth stayed with the Red Sox?
He has that. It's a little antiquated.
Yeah.
Harry Frazier didn't sell Babe Ruth to the Yankees.
Yeah. Yeah. What if the guy never wrote No Nanette?
There you go. We wouldn't have this conversation. Ben Dreith didn't call a phantom roughing the passer on Sugar Bear Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
When you were wearing your Patriots helmet watching the game.
Yeah, I had my Steve Grogan jersey on.
Well, I was partial to Stanley Morgan because I was faster than him. But
oh, okay. That's not what the reports out of Weston High are, but
well, I ran a 5.320.
Yeah. Well, on the baseball scale where it's like 70, 50, 40. I think you might have been like a 15
Oh,
speed.
the best is my old coach Joe Conley, who's since left us. The late Joe Conley called Dennis and Callahan one morning. We were talking about my high school career, and Joe Conley calls us up. I'm like, I couldn't believe it was him.
Yeah.
God, Joe, I haven't talked to you in 25 years. Hey, Mita Perel, I just want to supplement what they're saying about you.
Supplement.
I said, what do you mean, Coach? I said, what do you mean, Coach? He says, well, let me tell you about Mita Perel. How would I describe his career at Weston High?
Uh-oh.
He was adequate.
Adequate. Oh, man.
I was the best pro hockey team.
Yeah.
I was terrific form in center field.
Yeah.
Made some outstanding catches.
Wow. You sure that wasn't a roast? Was it a roast? I mean, was it a legit call?
Oh, this was legit. The only thing missing was, freaking Charlie Sheen getting roasted on Comedy Central by
Oh yeah.
Jeff Ross.
Yeah.
By the way, during the pandemic,
Yeah.
I highly recommend watching Comedy Central roast if you haven't seen
Oh
it,
yeah.
which I'm sure those of you that are fans of ours, all 10 of you know that you have the similar sensibilities that we have, Mike.
Yeah.
Those are incredible.
Yeah.
I saw one of Alec Baldwin the other day.
Oh man.
That was just a yuck a minute. Nikki Glazer is my new favorite comedian.
But what's funny about the roast is you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And I mean the participant obviously does, but as an audience member, you have to know what's coming because it's, raunchy and I mean it's funny, but it's a lot of it's and sometimes it gets brutally like sometimes it does border on okay, this isn't really funny. It's just you're just using grotesque images.
Oh, it was.
But sometimes it's hilarious. Yeah.
Very, very good. Like there's Nikki Glazer during either the Baldwin one or it might have been Charlie Sheen. Martha Stewart was there.
The Baldwin one was really funny.
Baldwin.
And then I think it was his daughter came up and like said some things too. Yeah.
Yeah, she said, "Hey, Dad, nice to meet you. I'm Ireland."
Yeah.
She's like 25 years old. That's the fat reference on the voicemail that he left.
Oh yeah.
And and she's like, "Yeah, my dad showed up to many of my birthdays, half of them."
Brutal.
And Martha Stewart was there once, and Nikki Glazer goes, "Hey, Martha Stewart, thanks for coming. Shank you very much."
Yeah, thank you very much. You know what's really funny too, and I don't know if it's Time Life or sometimes they do the Friars Club roasts, like the old school ones.
Harry Frazie's here.
Yeah, no, but like Rickles. I mean,
yeah,
and Rickles would be a dream team if you could be roasted. I mean, Rickles would be like A1. He was great.
My parents went to one of his concerts, and my dad always talked about how a friend of his who was rather overweight.
Oh no! Yeah.
At night.
Yeah.
And Don Rickles just absolutely pulverized,
eviscerated him. Yeah.
And it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But to Rickles' credit, though, after the concert, he came up to him and said, "I apologize. Thank you for being a good sport. I really appreciate you being here. I couldn't have been nicer about it.
Yeah.
By the way, you just." 3 hours?
Yeah, I just reamed you out, but thanks for letting me ream you out.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
But as we get back, interesting segue from Don Rickles and fat people. What if Malcolm Butler played in Super Bowl 52 against the Eagles?
Ooh.
You still don't know what happened there. I think I know. That's a story for another time.
Yeah, it's a story off there, huh?
I'll tell you, if you could tell it on the air, very intriguing.
Oh, geez, now you've piqued my interest.
Very juicy.
This might be a Howard Stern moment. Do tell, John. Do tell.
Do tell. Might have involved a woman. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, okay. Allegedly.
What if Fred Lynn played his entire career for the Red Sox?
Yeah.
One of your favorites.
Right. What if Haywood Sullivan mailed the contract to Fisk earlier?
That's on here.
Yeah.
What if Len Bias had lived?
Yeah. What if they shut the T down when Rosie Ruiz was running the marathon? Is that on there?
What if Agent Alan Eagleson actually told Bobby Ewing that the Bruins offered him a piece
yeah.
day in Boston?
Yeah.
Evil Alan Eagleson.
Evil. Yeah.
What if rookie slugger Jim Rice didn't break his wrist when he got hit by a Vern Rule fastball
Yeah.
in the days of '75?
Yep.
That's one of Joe Castiglione's favorites.
You know, I actually talked to Rice this year. He was down in Charlotte for doing an appearance with the Knights, and we talked about that.
Did he actually give you an answer?
No, just no. I mean, he was injured, but just he brought up the fact that you know how loaded that team was, and what might have been if he had been able to play in September.
Yeah, that was a shame that he got hurt. I mean, they definitely would have won.
Yeah,
I think. This is written by Giselle. What if Wes Welker didn't drop Brady's pass on the Super Bowl loss to the Giants?
Nice.
What if the Bruins didn't trade Ken Dryden to Montreal
Ooh.
in 1964, which a lot of people don't know happened?
Yeah.
There's a couple that are okay. Rasheed Wallace had been in game shape for Game 7 in 2010 in L.A. He was terrible that night. A sun-blinded Lou Piniella didn't somehow corral Jerry Remy's hard single to right off the goose in the bottom of the ninth in the 1978 playoff game.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Jeez.
When Mike Pacheco hurried home from Arlington Schools and made sure he was there for the fifth inning?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
What if the Celtics won the draft lottery in '97 and selected Tim Duncan with the first pick?
Ooh.
That would have been nice.
That's a what if.
That's a major what if.
Yeah.
What if the Hornets, you're doing this Charlotte version, what if the Hornets actually held on to Kobe Bryant?
I got a what if for you. What if Merrimack College didn't drop football for my senior year? What could have been? I was a career backup, but I was working my way up the ranks. I think I would have had a chance to start my senior year, or at least get some playing time.
Shattered every record.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it would have been record, but I just would have been happy to be up with the big team,
Well, you
and contribute.
were the Rudy of Merrimack.
Some might say that. But the funny thing is, what ifs? They bring it back 5 years later at Division II. I mean, there's no way. If you transported me back at 18 years old right now, there's no way I would have been able to play for them. Now they're up at the NEC, 1AA, one FCS.
You talk about the NEC.
Yeah, you throw out the records. Throw out the records at the NEC.
It's like the SEC and the ACC.
Yeah, of the FCS.
Good. Yes, but there was some fun little one-liners there by Sean.
Yeah.
Admirable effort during the days of lost sports. But one that I thought too. What if the San Francisco 49ers had selected Brady?
Yeah.
Instead of taking Gio Carmazzi.
Nice.
And the Patriots had taken Carmazzi in the 6th round instead.
Yeah. That's a huge what if. Can you imagine how different the landscape would be?
Oh, just.
But I mean, here's the what if, right? If
new coach for the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, but does and this is the unanswerable question, but does Brady go on to have nearly that success? I mean, this is what's going to be interesting about the Tampa Bay experiment, right? Because now with the Patriots on their own and Brady on his own, and now it's maybe not a fair judge for Brady. He's 43 years old, but at the end of his career. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of success he has outside the Patriot system, outside the Patriot way.
It will be, but as I said to you before, I think he's going to have a big year. I think just because they're loaded. And everything will be tailored to make sure he's okay. His offensive line is a question mark.
Right.
Aaron's going to do whatever he can to make sure that every single protection needed to make sure that he could throw another 4,500 yards. But interesting in the NFL, caught my eye yesterday. You're in the backyard of Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Not literally, but he's probably got a little bigger backyard.
He's got, his backyard might have a better backyard, yeah.
Just slightly.
A little bit.
Now we can.
But I'm working on it. I'm working on mine, John. I've been out there 2 hours every day, doing a little bit here and there, so it's getting better.
I don't doubt it. You put me to shame. You're a jack of all trades. You're like the Ed Romero of housekeeping.
I was going to say more like Randy Kutcher, but that's acceptable.
Yeah, Randy Kutcher, Glenn Hoffman. Gutierrez.
Yeah.
You play multiple positions.
Yeah.
You do a little gardening, you do a little cooking, you do a little cleaning.
A little gym teachering.
A little gym
little
teacher,
PE.
PE. You like Mr. Woodcock.
You just wanted to say Woodcock.
I love saying. Here's the goal for Life Without Sports. There must be a Woodcock reference every show. Every show.
I love it.
All right.
I love it.
It's like I'm going to beat Ripken's streak
Yeah.
with Woodcock references.
Okay, we started today. Today's April 14th. Yeah.
An underrated movie with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Um,
Hilarious.
And I know you haven't watched Tiger King yet.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards watching it just so we can discuss it, but I really, if I can avoid it, I'm gonna.
Mikey, it's for the show.
I know. I gotta buy one. I gotta play one for the team. Buy one. Get one for the team here.
But you'll know this when you watch it. There's a guy that they're talking about a Tiger King movie, of course.
Yeah.
But there's a guy that Billy Bob Thornton would be perfect playing.
Jeez. Oh yeah. I can see that.
I'm sure it's like perfect typecast.
Yeah.
But we digress. Christian McCaffrey, highest paid running back in the NFL, $16 million per year. And I think I remember saying this to you when he was in the draft class a couple of years ago. A perfect Patriot. Bill Belichick,
Oh yeah.
I think, was lusting after him and couldn't get it done.
Right.
Would have been an unbelievable system fit. He can play for anybody, as he's proven with Carolina.
Right.
The numbers he's put up, Mike, is staggering. 3 years, 2,500 yards plus rushing, 2,500 receiving.
Well, I know some people here. There's a guy on the radio that was kind of poo-pooing that kind of money for a running back, and in a traditional sense, it's understandable, right? To lock up that kind of money, and I think he's got like $50 million guaranteed, or I think $30 million was guaranteed. I mean, basically, a good amount of it's guaranteed. But John, he's a transformational type guy in the sense that he's position. The big word in college, both football and basketball, is positionless players, right? Guys that you can kind of put in anywhere. But he really fits that mold. I mean, on any given play, he could be the primary running back. He could be, kind of a wing player. He could be a safety valve for the quarterback. And you have to prepare for all three of those options against him. Or he can also, run a pattern and, spread the field. So
there's nothing he can do, really.
No.
I mean, he's not a rugged runner, but you don't need that.
No, but he can. But he can run between the tackles. I mean, the big knock on him coming out of the draft was would he be able to sustain himself between the tackles in the NFL? And he has. Sometimes they didn't really. There's some games where they just bell cowed him. There's some games where he really didn't run between the tackles much at all, and he was more of a safety valve. Or I mean, he's almost like a tight end in the sense too that. You get him a ball either, behind the line of scrimmage or maybe 2-3 yards over the line of scrimmage, and he'll get the first down. He'll get you the 8, 9, 10 yards after that.
He's got every moving part.
And he's fast. I mean, it's not like he's
cerebral. And he seems like a good locker room guy.
And nobody works harder. Torrey Smith put out a tweet the other day saying, when he came to Carolina, people said, stay away from Christian McCaffrey because, he works hard and he works too hard. And Torrey Smith's like, well, no, that's me. Like, I work hard too, so I'm going to hang around with that guy. And he said, sure enough, like that's him to a T. Like he's always, the comparison, and I think it fits to some extent. Was a lot of people kind of likened him to being like an offensive Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think Kuechly was really high on him.
Yeah,
from
day one. Yeah,
they had similar sensibilities.
Yeah, and they got along. I mean, they've done some like social media for the team together. Like the Panthers' social media digital team is phenomenal. They're kind of ahead of the curve. They put out really interesting content and different and not formulaic. I mean, it's and they've done some series type stuff too. They did a version of like the All Access that was pretty interesting. So.
What are you waiting for? I mean, life without sports. We're anything but formula.
I know. Well, you can't see it. There's actually a camera crew filming us right now, John. They're on my deck with me.
We're going to be on that. I saw the Amazon Prime series last year.
Yeah. So this is crazy, right? So
good. I think
they did the promotional picture that they did for that All or Nothing series. It had Cam, Kuechly, Ryan Khalil, Thomas Davis. None of those guys are with the team anymore. That was 2 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, McCaffrey will be the centerpiece now.
Right.
No matter who's, I know they made the trade for the quarterback, but I think David Tepper, a bottomless, guy has so much money, bottomless reservoir of money, much like the Pachicos.
Right. Yeah. I'm only, you know what? It's funny you say that because we do pretty well, but I looked at it the other day. I calculated somewhere like I think I'm only 12 billion behind them.
Oh, only 12?
Yeah.
I thought you were at least like 4 billion.
No. I'm only 12 billion behind them. So, but what's 12 billion these days, right?
Nothing, especially now.
I mean, can you really say 12 billion goes as far as it did like 12 years ago?
12 years ago, man, I would have burned through that. I would have burned through it. There's no doubt in my mind.
That's right.
It's gone.
Well, you would have bought. I mean, you would have bought a house for all your crew. So I think I'm in your crew, right?
Well, you run with me.
Yeah.
It's like, I have my East Coast and my West Coast.
Yeah.
You're part of the pseudo East Coast.
So would I be your E? I don't think I'd be your turtle.
You would be my. No, you'd probably be my E.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going turtle for you.
No, I don't think I'd be Johnny Drama either.
Yeah, Johnny Drama is more like a Steve Ciaccio like character.
Chach is gonna love that.
Our erstwhile producer on BC Football. And
that's right.
By the way, you feel free to plug away on your podcast, but check out Game of Inches.
Yeah.
Yours truly.
Well, I do have a small bone to pick with Chach on that, but go ahead and continue your plug.
Okay, well, I'm just going to plug away and tell you the Mute and I take a deep dive into the NFL draft and quarterbacks, and we are going to deep dive on receivers this week as well. But a lot of yucks, similar to Life Without Sports.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, Mute's pretty funny. He's quick on his feet, so he's no. You guys do. I like listening to that podcast. That's definitely one that people should be listening to. It's good. A lot of fun.
I'm just trying to keep up with the CarCast.
The bearded CarCast. Yeah, I got the beard back. So, yes. Dave Friedman, we work together on Winthrop basketball. I do the TV broadcasts at home and do color on the road with Dave. And as John knows, we just go on the road a lot with Winthrop. And we just basically we're talking in the car one day going to a game. And we're like, why don't we just record this? So that's it. It's a sports talk show, somewhat travel log, sometimes pop culture, a little bit of everything. Sometimes talk a little bit about Winthrop basketball too, which is fun because somebody put out actually it was Winthrop that did this, the most NCAA, it was either NCAA tournaments or conference championships, which is basically the same thing for Winthrop in the last like 15 years, and Winthrop's in some pretty good company with like Duke and Kansas and
So. No, look, you guys, it's one of those programs that people don't talk about much, but all Kelsey does is win. The coach there, I know. Had the hiccup with him a couple of years ago, and he would have been a good fit there if he had gone.
Yeah.
As UMass hired him, and then the press conference that didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, but Pat, he's a good family man. He's a good coach, and he does things the right way. He. The one interesting thing is that the Big South has been rated the last couple of years. So basically, if you're like a UNC Asheville, or you're because they've been kind of the biggest one hit by this. But teams plucking guys out of mid-majors and Power 5 schools taking them in. Asheville's lost a bunch of guys over the years. Maceo Teague, kind of the latest one. But it's really interesting that he's been able to keep his teams together. In this day and age, it's hard because,
well, those mid-majors, it's so easy for it now.
Well, it's almost like on minor league to some extent,
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's a great point. And John Feinstein tweeted that the other day.
Yeah.
Gutting the mid-majors. He's a big mid-major guy. Obviously the Patriot League. He wrote a book about it, the Ivy League. But
college basketball is the only sport that, and I'll let you follow through on the rest of it after this. But college basketball is the only sport where the little guy has a chance to compete and make a run and have a chance at a national championship. No offense to App State. Maybe down the road, but right now App State, they're not competing for the national championship. In football, and that's a good mid-major. Would you say a good mid-major college football program? But they don't have a chance.
Right. No, they don't have a chance. Even with Eli, now that Eli Drinkwitz was one and done.
Yeah.
And It took them money in, but
Wow.
I think it's too bad for the mid-major college basketball program.
Yeah.
It's a feeder system now for the ACC, SEC,
Yeah.
America, AAC, everybody, all the high conferences, the Power Five.
Yeah.
It's difficult to compensate if you're a coach at that level.
Well,
that's why Kel Winter's done such a good job.
Well, and it makes it harder to plan, right? I mean, if you think you're going to have a guy for 4 years, and all of a sudden, he's transferring to Baylor or transferring to Ohio State or whatever, makes it tough. Makes it tough because not only do you have to you have accounted for that guy, but then you have to plan how do you get a quick replacement. And the JUCO route is tough. I mean, sometimes you can get a guy that comes in from a junior college, or grad transfers. I would say is also an avenue, but junior college transfers, it's tough to get them acclimated. And then the grad students, the grad transfers, same kind of thing. Like even though generally those guys are maybe a bit of a higher quality basketball player, you would think, but it still takes some time to learn the system and get acclimated. And it's hard. We had a guy this year, Hunter Hill, started out at Central Michigan, was Grand Valley State for a couple years, and then grad transferred to Winthrop for his final year. And it took him a while to get acclimated, but I mean he was one of our best players down the stretch. So.
Yeah, no, I think as we've said, if there was March Madness, too bad there wasn't. If there was, there would have been. Everyone would think there were upsets, but they really weren't because 30 or 40 teams could have won the tournament.
Well, easily. This was a year that you could have seen a team that you wouldn't expect win, no doubt about
it. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been a phenomenal tournament. But so McCaffrey's in Carolina for a long time. He'll be putting roots down like you did once upon a time.
But
sipping sweet tea.
That move also. So I mean, obviously the football move was the riding factor in that, right? But I think with Luke Kuechly retiring, with what happened with Greg Olson, who was the longtime tight end, he and Cam Newton kind of had the same release situation where they were told that they could go find a trade, and then ended up both getting cut. So no Cam Newton, Greg Olson, Luke Kuechly, those are the core, very popular players. So I think it also sent a message to the fan base locking up McCaffrey that and Tepper's done a great job. Not that he needed to prove this, but he's come in, he's done a good job in the community. But I think just from the fan base standpoint, they needed something to feel good about, and I think this satisfies that move.
Is McCaffrey Mr. Uptown when he's not quarantined? Is he?
No, he's kind of quiet. Like he's. I mean, I know he's kind of made a splash on Instagram with his girlfriend, but I mean, I think he's not.
Is that Amendola?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the pride of Rhode Island.
That's right. Yeah. She apparently has a type.
Olivia
Cooper. Yeah. She's got a type, but. No, I mean he came to a Knights game. We had him on our pregame. It actually was a rain delay. It rained right during the pregame show, so we talked to him in the dugout. But I mean, he's a really nice guy, soft spoken. But kind of what you'd expect for a Stanford guy. He's smart, cerebral, but not. I wouldn't say he's aloof. By any means. Engaging, good with kids.
We're gonna have some guests dropping here in the next couple of days on Life Without Sports. But one guy we're gonna talk to about him is a good friend from the arena football days, J.J. Raderink. He coached Christian in high school.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Every McCaffrey in high school.
Yeah.
He's on Ed McCaffrey's high school coach.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Denver.
Let's do that.
He loves the McCaffrey family. And it's an athletic family. It's kind of like the Pachicos.
Wow. Yeah, well, they have us beat. I mean, my brother and my sister were good basketball players, and my other brother ran track, but we don't hold a candle to the McCaffreys, that's for sure.
Yeah. Mother soccer player, father NFLer,
Yeah.
Ben and Nick, they don't have a chance.
Well, you were adequate, though.
I was adequate.
Yeah.
I was adequate. Good call.
You were adequate.
I was adequate as a center.
You were adequate.
John, I'm not sure he's going to be hitting homers out of 90.
Well, you probably don't know this, Meat. I mean, I played. I didn't. So I didn't. I actually walked on at Merrimack. I didn't. I was more of a track cross country guy in high school. So that's. So I had a lot of success doing that. Captain, MVP, that type of stuff. So he might have a chance. I don't know if and he's playing football now too. But I don't know if he has a chance of being a football star. But maybe track and field will be in his future.
Well, maybe he could be the next Bruce Jenner. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oh man.
You put that one on a tee for me.
Oh man, you're killing me, mean.
That was like you on the 10th fairway the other day.
Oh no, yeah, I was spraying him. Yeah, no, that was actually I did have a couple of good fairway shots, but yeah, unbelievable. Hey, so what do you think? What do you think of the XFL? I think is that the death knell for anybody trying to start up a spring football league? It's got to be.
It's got to be. It's it's unfortunate. I think from a broadcast perspective for guys like you and I was looking forward to the league.
Yeah.
Because more football the better.
More football the better. Yeah.
And also, spring football. I loved it when I was growing up. USFL.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good hook. I was a 12-year-old kid watching football in April with the Boston Breakers at Nickerson Field.
Yeah.
But this thing, I think it's the WWE. I thought it was promising because there's money there.
There was money behind it, and that was the problem with the AAF. I mean, it was a good model. It's just they
no money.
They accelerated the USFL, right? I mean, the USFL, if they had stayed on their footing, they had a chance to be successful. It's just they got into years 2 and 3, and owners started spending money like sailors on shore leave. The AAF just didn't have the money to start. They thought that they kind of did we'll give people a taste of this, and then somebody will bail us out. And the Hurricanes owner did, and then he realized that they started kind of hemorrhaging dough. I think the XFL. I think obviously the coronavirus was a big thing with that, but I don't know that the XFL was getting the traction that the AAF had early on. I think people sampled it like the first 2-3 weeks, and then. But it's also almost unfair though because there was so much going on in the country at the time too. I mean,
it's bad. It's unfortunate timing. I think they had a decent plan. I think I liked some of the things they were trying to do.
Yeah.
With instant replay, the NFL is going to copycat that now.
Yeah.
They had quarterback play was terrible.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, you'll see in Charlotte. Panthers signed PJ Walker. He's the best player in the league, probably.
Yeah.
Kid out of he'll back up Teddy Bridgewater. But I think that's essential for any football league now. What do you need? You need good quarterback play.
Yeah.
And dynamic offenses. People want to see a shootout. I was in Houston, and they played at the University of Houston, and I was talking to people about it, and they're like, oh, yeah, it was good for the first week, and then it just kind of died.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a tough fit, I guess.
Yeah.
But the good news is you and I, we can pool our money since you're worth about $8 billion.
Yeah, right, 8. Yeah.
I'm worth $200.
I'm only 7.9 shy of that, but go ahead.
That's still pretty good. Well,
7.9, no, 7.99999.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
it's better than $200, but we can pull it, and we can buy the league. The league is for sale for $10 million.
Wow. So we're only about 9 point.
9.99999 shot.
Yeah. So at Meets Tweets, if you want to invest in our spring football league.
At Mike Pacheco 81.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get. I'm sure we'll get Yarbrough on that. I'm sure.
Yeah, that'll work.
Mark Yarbrough, one of our loyal viewers, and a former co-worker with ours at WFNZ.
Yeah, that was afternoon co-host with Bobby Rosinski on the ESPN affiliate, where the Knights actually our games are on 7:30. So it's good synergy there.
Are you hearing any rumblings? We heard some things out of Major League Baseball. Obviously, they're trying to get plans in place for when they're coming back. I know nothing's coming back, probably for the next 4 or 5, who knows, maybe a year.
Yeah.
But are there any rumblings from your people and with the Knights? Is there any plan in place to get AAA baseball back?
I mean, they're obviously scrambling and doing. Right now it's all like it's almost like a school project. You know what I mean? Because the data changes. The information coming in changes almost daily. So, I think they're trying to put a couple of different plans in place. Like contingencies is probably the best way to put it. But, until until they say that there's a hard date of starting, it's almost like you can't, it's just, it's just no traction to get anything done. So, I know the Knights are putting together some contingency plans. And Matt Swearad, so Matt's my broadcast partner with the Knights. He's also the director of team travel. So basically the only thing he's really been able to do is just cancel stuff. So he's had to cancel all the April, and I think he might have even started to cancel some of the May stuff. To me, right now, let's say, what did we hear nationally yesterday? I think the president was hoping to target May 1st or roughly the first week of May. So, and that's best case scenario, right? Because, to me, I don't think it's feasible. No, I don't think it's feasible. But going on the hypothesis, you figure if the first week of May is when things open up, that gives you a month for training camp minimum. So I don't think you would see. The earliest you could do games right now to me would be July.
Yeah. Yeah, that's again the best case scenario.
But but one of the things I have heard, not to cut you off, Mead, is there's been different proposals floated, like having 50-man rosters. I almost think, I don't know that, I think the most logical thing to do would be expand AAA rosters, and I would go AAA, maybe AA. But I wouldn't, I don't know that you could do a full minor league season. I think you'd have to do maybe just AAA, maybe expand those rosters, and you play, as many games as you can get in to the middle of September, for just so you have guys in shape, and then in case you need to bring guys up. But
use it in extended spring training.
Right. But here's the thing. I was talking about this with a producer friend of mine, TV producer, an executive, and it sounds great, to get everything back and going. But what happens if you start, let's say baseball goes from, say, June or July or August into November, December, right? You have, maybe the NBA doing something, and then coming back on a normal schedule. The demands on the production side are going to be immense. If you're doing all that stuff at the same time, college basketball, college football. You're doing it already, but there's more. You have more things spaced out. So if you're trying to do a full baseball schedule in November,
there's not enough bandwidth there.
Yeah.
And the magnitude of the money, the losses. I heard today the NBA has lost $840 million.
Jeez. Yeah.
In advertising revenue.
Yeah.
And,
you can't make that money back,
No, but you also that's the Trumpian way of thinking about this thing. And it's awful. It's awful. Jobs lost. Trust me, we all know.
Yeah.
You and I know that. But it's also the magnitude of the lives. It's the magnitude of the agony that everyone's going through that's been affected.
Well, this is. Everybody's failing this. And I hate to use this. The only winners in this to me are the heroes, are the people that are saving lives. And we talked about that yesterday. Financially. You and I are of like mind, so this is not going to surprise you. I think it's fair to be concerned about the economic side of things, but they're talking about over 23,000 deaths from this, and this isn't equatable to the flu. These are 23,000 more deaths. Maybe there would have been some overlap, but these are kind of new deaths. You know what I mean?
It's horrific.
Yeah.
It's horrific. Bottom line, it's horrific. I was sickened by watching Trump yesterday. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen from maybe the worst from a president.
Yeah. He dropped a campaign ad. Yeah, campaign ad.
A propaganda video. Good for Paula Reed from CBS for going after him. She got a lot of play for that.
Yeah.
For challenging him. He needs to be challenged more like that.
But I think the lesson going forward, John, is I think I think people that oppose Trump have to step up with the next administration and also be, look, there's a series of events that have occurred over the last 3 years and even going back that have led to the distrust, particularly with the Trump campaign and the Trump presidency with most of the American people. or a good number of the American people. It started. I was watching something last night. I mean, it starts with, the American carnage speech, lying about the. I mean, who cares how many people were at your inauguration? Like, I almost think he's focused on things that aren't important and letting important things fly by. And but I do think going forward, and to kind of regain the trust of all Americans, I think we need to get on a footing where the media, and I think to some extent they do this, but you just have to make sure that we're holding all our elected officials accountable, and not just if you line up with somebody politically. It shouldn't matter personally what political persuasion you are. If you're reporting on this stuff, you have to treat it objectively, and I think most people do. I think the fake news thing has gotten out of hand. I don't think the news is nearly as bad, as unobjective as people think it is. Now, look, you and I both know, John, that people aren't perfect, and so sometimes your bias will leak into a story. It's unavoidable. But I think there are some people who have exploited a few mistakes or maybe some misjudgments and have made it seem like it's everybody. It's kind of like the reverse crying wolf, right? I mean, they've made it. And I think that's what led to the coronavirus situation. Is they made it so toxic against the mainstream media that now you finally have a legit, in their eyes, something legit, but nobody's paying attention to it because everybody thinks it's fake.
It's just, it's a disaster on so many levels, and we could talk about this until we turn blue.
No, but I think what was interesting was
overall failure on the word is failure. It's a failure on many levels to make sure that this thing didn't get out of hand. And
right.
I know you can blame the governors, you can blame the state, you can blame your representatives, you can blame Congress. Everybody's blame senators like Trump's doing, blame everybody. But the fact of the matter is we're dealing with a national disaster.
Right. Yeah.
So everybody deserves blame. Everybody's going to take it. The elections, hopefully, there'll be some changes. Hopefully, people will get their comeuppance. And, this thing will get back on the right track economically, emotionally, physically, most importantly, from a health standpoint. So we all don't have to worry about, breathing on each other and getting it.
Right.
Some of us are asymptomatic. Some of us aren't. What happens is if you're asymptomatic, you still can be a carrier.
Right.
That's why you need a mask.
Right.
There's so many.
But I think the good news though is, and I think first of all, I think we need to treat this as a health crisis, not an economic crisis. I mean, it is an economic crisis, but the health crisis to me comes first. I mean, but I think from an economic standpoint, a lot of our core industries are fine. Banking is okay. Housing right now seems to be fine. I just took the dogs for a walk today, and I saw some construction crews working on a house. So it's unfortunate for a lot of us in the entertainment, the service industries. We've taken a beating, but I mean, my wife's she's still working. I know a lot of people that are working from home. So it's as soon as to me, the lesson in history is as soon as we can get the testing where it needs to be and the vaccine. I would say that I do agree with the president on this. I mean, I think once we get through this, I think we can kind of pick up where we left off. I don't think it's going to be that much of a stretch.
I agree with that. We're resilient. We always have been.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the most resilient country in the world. Always been that way and always will be that way. I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. I really don't.
The problem is getting there. Like we all see that that's a possibility or a likelihood, but how can we get there with mitigating the damage? And to me, the damage first is what we've been doing, which is flattening the curve, and preventing. I wouldn't say all the deaths were preventable, but I mean, I feel like with the lesson here is history. I think I had a history teacher in college. The reason why we learn history is to avoid the mistakes of the past. And I think there'll be a lot of lessons learned from this that hopefully can maybe prevent something like this down the road.
Here's the number one. It starts right now. Get rid of the wet markets.
Yeah.
Get rid of the wet markets in China. Eradicate them.
Yeah.
You can live without your bank.
Right.
You can live without your those toxic animals you're putting in your body. I'm sorry, I know it's part of the culture.
Yeah.
But if it's part of your culture and it's affecting everybody in the world,
right.
You got to.
Yeah.
We'll leave you with that deep thought.
Yeah.
But Mike, we've run the gamut today, as we always do on Life Without Sports. And tomorrow, another blockbuster version. We'll have Jim Nantz narrate from Mike's backyard.
Yeah. Hello, friends. Yeah, that'll be fun.
And did you see Brady and Peyton Manning on Peyton Manning's?
Yeah, that was a repeat. They busted into Nance's house.
That was pretty funny, actually.
That was good. Yeah.
I felt like, kind of like what I feel like when I go to the Pacheco residence in Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do have the Meter Pearl suite.
Well, it's the Meter Pearl suite.
Yeah.
And one thing you should do next time.
It's like Butler. It's like Butler Cabin.
Yeah. Yes, Butler Cabin without all those ghosts. But one thing you should do the next time is my friend Tim Markey, who's another loyal viewer of this program. His wife Patty always puts some Swedish fish on the pillow.
Oh, that is a nice touch. I can't believe I didn't. I'm gonna one up her though.
I'm looking for the one up here.
Yeah, there might be a moon pie in your future.
Moon pies are good. Might be that Dr. Pepper cream soda.
Oh yeah.
But anything that you can tantalize me with, Mike.
Sweeten the pot.
Sweeten the pot. So.
All right.
But good to see you as always, my friend.
Yes, sir. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow.
Stay safe and healthy.
All right. See you, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.